Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. My name is Splattercat, and we're here today playing Craft the World. I mean, we're on like episode 5 million at this point. The second you see this sucker pop up in your subscription feed there, you should be like, ooh, Craft the World. You already know what's coming. In this episode, we will do what we have done for all of the other episodes, and we will continue to move down the crafting tree. That's all there is really to do in this game at this point. If you look, we've more or less mined out like everything that exists. The bottom layer is right here. We ran into some lava. There's some very large dragons. We invited them to the sport of Hack-a-Dragon. They were not pleased about it. And no, we haven't tried to fight them or anything like that just yet. What are you guys trying to get out here? I'm a wee bit confused about your endeavors out here in the middle of this huge expansive forest that wasn't there 2 episodes ago. Now then. We need to find ourselves a new supply of coal because that really is our limiting reactant right now in all of our processes. So in this episode, I think I'm going to try and get at as much coal as I can. It's a little bit in the background right there. I am going to grab that. We're going to dig out that coal in the background too because anything that's easily accessible at this point needs to become ours. I'm going to mine out all of that stuff, but I'm going to start from that end. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to mine this and replace it as we go. I don't know if we, for example, take like the stone right here and we go replace coal. I don't know if that's going to work the way that I want it to, where we'll get the coal as well. Who knows? We'll try it out though. Maybe we'll just waste 4 coal if we try it. But in any sense, it'll be worth it to know whether or not that actually works. On this side, in the previous episode, we had opened up a terrible, we had stepped on an anthill. And my dad always tells a story from when he was a kid where he fell on a red anthill down in the south near Atlanta. And he said it was very, very unpleasant. I think these termites are pretty much the similar level of unpleasantness for me. They just, like, totally suck. No, I'm not going to compare it to, like, a physical ant sensation, but at the same time, this tunnel is no longer accessible, and there's a lot of stuff over there that I kind of want, unfortunately. So what I may think about doing, God, there are just so many of them. We may think about just kind of fireballing the hell out of them and making a little bit of a headway against them. Oh, we need to make food, too. I had forgotten about that. Let's make ourselves some food, then. That's going to take coal. So that food right now is completely and totally out. However, bread might be worthwhile. Or some buns. That takes coal. So anything that takes coal is out. We've got 65 flour. We've got plenty of eggs. So let's make ourselves a nice batch of bread, then. Oh, good. We ran out of water, though, unfortunately. So let's go track down some more water. Appears as though a lot of the water has already been gathered up, but we're going to gather all of this right here. And then we'll also gather everything we can out of our little reservoir on the left. Hopefully we'll get some rainfall in the next couple days, which has been something that's been worrying me. Rainfall has not been coming through, both in real life and in our Craft the World playthrough. Where I'm at right now, I think we're probably heading into a pretty major drought by comparison. I don't know why I stuttered right there. The thought of a drought was too horrifying, I guess. No, we're headed into like a drought or something where I live because we haven't had any rain this entire rainy season. And typically it's like monsoon style, just like the heavens pissing down on you at this point of the year. And unfortunately, there's been nothing. So we have both a drought in-game and out-of-game, which is kind of a terrifying circumstance. It means that the food prices are going to go up like a cray-cray, but whatever. Everybody should be fully rested at this point. Following our previous battle, good. Everybody's health is looking pretty substantially filled out. Good. Okay, so we'll stop that, and we're going to gather up all the water that we can muster for now. We need to get a load of water so that we can continue producing our bread, which, as you can see right here, he's already gone to work. He's wearing his Santa suit, and unfortunately for him as a dwarf, dwarves pride themselves on the density of their stink, and the side effect of being a baker here in our society is that you smell like bread, so you no longer stink, and so he probably just lost all kinds of face in dwarvish society because he smells like bread, and everybody loves the smell of fresh baked bread. I don't think I've ever met anybody that walked into a house and was like, it smells like bread in here, let me go get the Febreze. That's never happened. I've had people come in while I was making bread one time after I got after the yeasty part, like where you have to do all the yeast and you gotta leaven the bread and whatever. I've had people come in and be like, wow, it stinks like crazy in here because they don't like the smell of the yeast, but otherwise I've never had that happen. On this side, God, that termite mound is going crazy too. I don't know if that's kind of like a date thing where the termites get worse as time goes along, but as it stands right now, they've formed up like a unified front that's not going to be something that we can break through without better equipment. I think at this point, once we get our bread made, we can make some silver armor. That is something that we can craft right now, but it's going to cost us a lot. Oh, unfortunately, we need steel for it too. How much steel do we have? We have enough. How much better is it? 10 armor? Let's compare. It's 3 armor better. I'm kind of thinking about leapfrogging it. Then again, we did just spend a ton of coal making ourselves a load of armor, so it may be sort of a waste if I do that. I'm going to summon some imps for a minute because I feel like there's a lot of gathering that needs to be done that hasn't gotten done. So we'll open up a portal right there, and if there's any work that needs to be taken care of, hopefully they'll run off to the edges of the reaches of the kingdom and handle all that extra work that I don't want dwarves focusing on. Down here, let's have a look. And if we can find ourselves a new coal seam, it looks like we've got one right there. Which means I think I'm going to try and dig down this way. I think that might be the quicker and more efficient way to get at it. We could get at some of that sand, too, to get ourselves some more supplies for the future. Ah, we've got another coal seam right there. So that's going to give us the opportunity to get 2 more little areas of coal, which has had me worried over the last couple episodes. Here, we're going to put in... Yeah, let's put in a ladder. A bunch of ladder, that is. And I've got everybody on 2 times speed right now. Because for me, that's always the most comfortable speed at which to play. Oh, good. They put it in behind a scaffold, which means I can't get to it. Weak. Weak and whack and under attack, as I always say. But it's okay. We will scream hi do at them someday. And it will be their day of reckoning. Their day of spidery reckoning. Because they didn't follow through on the treaty. The Treaty of Spiders. It might be worth trying to come in from above. But we'll leave that for later. Looks like we've got a nice supply of iron over here. Let me think about putting in some torches. We'll get rid of that one. And then we shall kill that spider. Ooh, we got ourselves another gold piece. I may try and buy equipment too, because we've got so many coins at this point, and we've also got enough natural resources that I don't feel like I need to buy anything. So let's go to Grump's shop. Is that his name? Grump's shop? Oh, Grunt's shop with a T, not a P. I was gonna say, he looks like a grump. I mean, he definitely has his face going on, although maybe he's just gotta chew whatever that is. Maybe he's chewing some weed right now and he'll feel better in just a minute. Let's see, he's got a nice mouthful of bud. What is that? I don't want it. Whatever it is, don't put it on my docket right now. Do not put that in my cart, Amazon.com. I don't want that product. I just clicked the wrong thing, so give me a second. Over here, it looks like the expense is pretty high for some of the better tier gear. Although, if we could leapfrog some of the tiers, I would way rather do that. What is that, a golden helmet? What does that do? 8 armor. How much better is that than what we have already? 15 armor compared to 10. So it looks like it does do sort of a logarithmic. Oh, never mind. It's just by 5s for the last 2. That's not logarithmic. That's kind of variably linear, I guess. But anyways, I guess I'll buy 1 mithril armor with the 25 coins that I have because I'm not going to use them on anything else. So there it is. I don't know who to give the mithril armor to. We'll probably give it to our #1 stunner. Give it to our #1 shooter. Our guy who knows how to throw down the Daka, and that's going to be our swordsman. Who for now... Why is our swordsman equipped with arrows? When did I do that? God, I blundered wholeheartedly right there. I don't even remember doing that particular stupid thing, but apparently I did it at some point. And that leaves us with another Yatagan, which I didn't equip either. I'm just screwing up all over the place here. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I've got my head up my ass. I mean, I don't even know if I'm so messed up at this point, I don't even know if I have my head up my ass. It could be up somebody else's ass, which I don't even know if that's a good or a bad thing. I have no idea who has the dominant position in that case. I mean, on one hand, my head is up somebody else's ass, but then on the other hand, he did let me put it there. So, you know, who's superior? What's going on? I don't even know. I'm not going to try anymore. However... the Santa suit gives us 20 armor. Oh my god, it's as good as mithril. You guys were right. What am I doing? I am just... What do I even say to this? What do I even say to this? At this particular moment, I'm feeling like just... You know, back in the day, they used to have this comic called Goofus and Gallant. And it was the dumbest it was a terrible comic. Basically, they parodied it. So if you ever played Bioshock Infinite, they had Doofus and Dimwit. Same thing, Goofus and Gallant. So Gallant was always doing the right thing. He was kind of a goody two-shoes. He was that asshole that was always making everybody else look bad. Everybody knows a Gallant in their life. That guy that's just always got to do that thing that makes the rest of us look bad. Like there's a piece of trash on the ground, he's got to pick it up in front of the teacher and get a comic made about it. And then Goofus was always the guy that was sort of like me when I was growing up that was like, Goofus sees a piece of trash, he just keeps on walking. I'm like, yeah, somebody else did it. Why don't you call their house and make them do it? You know, altruism. Altruism. But anyways, that's beside the point. Goofus and Gallant, I don't even remember what my point was. I've lost where I was going with this diatribe. What has happened to the world? Oh well. There used to be a comic called Goofus and Gallant. My point is that I am the Goofus at this point. That's where I was headed with the whole thing. So anyways, I'll just leave it right there. Let's get back to some pig slaughter and some sheep slaughter because we're gonna need some more meat in the future because I think we were trying to track down some coal here somewhere. Coal? Wherefore art thou coal? Oh yeah, it was down this pipe over here. Let's find our particular pipe. I would love for somebody to come over here and place these ladders. People? Dwarves, what are you doing right now? There are no jobs queued up, and yet they're all down below the surface doing something. Who even knows? I think it would be pretty sweet for somebody to come over here and get this badass armor though, although it looks like one of our little imps did it. So let's go back to the equipment menu, and with this guy right here who's got a Yatagan, we'll give it to him. Oh, that is badass. I like how it has little like lightning-y veins inside of it. Whoever thought that metal had veins, but whatever, you know, metal has mud vein, which is kind of, I don't know, I'm trying to make a bad joke right there, and that's new metal anyways, if I really wanted to split hairs about things. But I guess at the end of the day, it's all metal, whatever. Let's kill off that bush right there that has decided to grow and block our process. And is anything else occurring now? You're going back down into the earth to do something. At which point, I think we should probably, let's make a little tunnel. Oh, there's sand, so we're gonna have to come in at that one from above, or from below. That's okay, it doesn't go up too much higher right there, so we'll dig kind of a long shaft right there, and we'll grab everything once we're done with it. Let's put in that ladder that I vetoed, because there will be no vetoing occurring here. All of these proclamations shall go through, because this is an oligarchy. This is a benign oligarchy. This is absolutely 100%. This is not a democracy. I want to make it very clear that my dwarves don't get to vote on anything. I just tell them what happens, and it just a dictatorship, I guess. Maybe not even like a benign oligarchy. Just kind of, just a dictatorship. I'm going to simplify. We're just going to call it a dictatorship. There. Now then. It looks like we've got plenty of trees for the future. I'm going to leave them where they're at, and I'm not going to harvest them right now. Our food situation is still a little bit tentative. So what I'd like to do is make sure that now that we have water, how much water do we have, coincidentally? 28, not a ton, but still. What I would like to do here is let's get back to making some more bread. We do happen to have all that flour and all them eggs, so let's get to it. I do wish that we could make a hatchery, like a location at which we could produce a bunch more chickens. Now that we've got more bread, we can focus maybe on, how is our coal supply doing? 52. Once that's back up at 100, I'll make some more steaks for the future, and our dwarves will be eating mighty fine. But up until then, let's get back. Oop, nope, that's not what I want. Let's get back to our crafting menu. I realize I haven't advanced anything during the course of this whole episode. Let's find that table with the tablecloth that, oh, there it is right there. It was supposed to be getting done. Exquisite table with a tablecloth. I suppose that probably does the same thing as our other table, just in a nicer format. It's one of those things. It's like putting it in sans serif. It's just, it looks nicer. Whatever. We can't put that right there. We can, however, put the table with the tablecloth. I was going to put it down there, but none of our tables are empty, so I guess we'll just put it right there. Can I put food on that table too? I bet I can. Then again, it's not within the confines of the sparklies, so we're going to leave it where it is for now. I don't think it matters, but at the same time, I like my food to be inside the sparkly barrier. Now then, we'll also send somebody down to the depths here to start coal mining. Just work 18 hours, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Either that or your parents sell you to Paris Hilton. One or the other. I mean, there's only two outcomes of the situation. Crafting up some cages there, which means that there's probably cages done. I have trouble recalling where my cages are at. We'll put them right there, and once they've been hauled back to base, we'll start putting those out. We need to focus on our defense from here on out. It's been a little bit nasty. The last few battles have not gone well for us. I think putting down iron traps just in a row over here will probably be something that we want to endeavor to accomplish, simply because that last run on our base would have wiped us out if they hadn't burned out in the sunlight. They weren't efficient enough. The undeads are occupying, or at least they're operating under the premise that they have to get everything done during the course of the night, and they haven't been getting it done. So at least we know that we have that backup plan where we can rain down the sun upon them. I started watching Attack on Titan. I didn't want to break, I mean, talking about losing ground here. I started watching Attack on Titan because I feel like the hype has gotten to the point on the internet where you're starting to get those hipsters who are like, oh, that's the worst anime ever. Like, you've got people, once you start to get hipsters and contrarians showing up, it means that the hype has hit a point where you've got a counterculture movement that just decides to hate it because everybody else likes it. And once those people show up, that's typically when I jump on the bandwagon and start looking at something. And I've started watching Attack on Titan, and the first 4 to 5 episodes, I was like, this show seems okay. Like, it's not amazing. Like, it's alright. But then, oh, that's right, we have to have an open background. So let's get them going, killing everything over here. And once they've cut down all the trees, we'll be able to put down traps, because we've got what looks like about 9 minutes left before we get hit again, which is going to mean right at the end of this episode, we're going to be suffering the wrath of our enemies. I'm going to put in some imps to help out with the carting process. There we are, lovely little buggers that they are, helping us out with everything that we need to get done. But anyways, I started watching Attack on Titan, and I'll do a video log on this because I have got myself a webcam at this point. Just so you know, I have purchased one, I just haven't gotten around to making a video log yet. And I feel like doing video logs are one of those things that's expected of somebody on YouTube. I'm not necessarily doing it because I feel like video logs are necessary. It's just one of those things that I feel like everybody has in accordance with like a YouTube channel. So I suppose instead of extolling and kind of doing rants inside of my episodes, I'll just do them in a video log and then we can stay on point while we're playing the games. But anyways, Attack on Titan, I was a naysayer to begin with. The first 3 or 4 episodes I didn't like, but after that, I'll admit it picked up and it became a very, very good anime. And there's no doubting that the game just has really nice animation to begin with. So even before you get to the fact, like, is the storyline any good, the animation is spectacular. So if you're there just to watch, like, violent activities take place and see, like, crazy stuff, I will freely admit that they did a very, very good job with all of the animation and the fluidity of the whole thing, and the way that the whole thing, if you're watching it in HD, it looks really, really good. Add to that, the voice acting is just spectacular. I'm watching the subbed version right now, not the dubbed. I don't think there is a dubbed at the moment. But the subbed version, I was really surprised. The Japanese voice cast is stellar as well. Typically, there's kind of something lost in translation right there, but I think that over the last decade or two, Japanese voice actors have gotten very, very good at making the content accessible to both, like, American audiences and Japanese audiences. If you look back at, like, stuff from the 80s or whatever, it was very much the mannerisms in their speech were built for the Japanese audience, and I think now the Japanese voice actors have found a very good middle ground to where the vocal mannerisms and the way that they tone the intonation and the way that they approach certain syllables and certain situations, like stressful situations versus like a sad situation, the acting quality has gone up tremendously to where it's accessible from both audiences. And I like that. I like that a lot. That may also be a function of the fact that both audiences, I think, have become more similar over time. Like the American kind of otaku audience and the Japanese otaku audience have become very, very similar. They've kind of intermixed a little bit. But anyways, I get off my soapbox. We'll do a video log about this in the future where I'll probably say the exact same thing. I digress. We need to get down to this coal mine right here. I want more coal very, very badly. So we are just doing all kinds of... We're trying to get ourselves on the naughty list because somewhere I heard that Santa puts you on the naughty list and gives you free coal at some point if you can get it pulled off. Actually, I think the best way to kill off these guys is just to get in here like so. And just handle our business. Ooh. They did a lot of damage right there. A terrifying amount of damage, actually. How are they doing so much? Oh, they're stacked up. I think this is something that I wish there was a pause key right now that I could pause this with. Let me see here. Let's go back to normal speed, and we're going to try and beat them back in an attempt to maintain some ground here because we are losing so much ground to termites at the moment. There we go. So we killed them all off. This termite mound is now gone. Let's get some torches in here. We did lose a dwarf, unfortunately, so we've got about 5 minutes till he's back. And it was one of our dwarves with the Santa suit, but at least we reclaimed it. It appears to be still on the body, but from what I can assume, I bet we grabbed it off of him. It's, you know, it's standard practice. I always say it looks like a total psychopath, like, just rapist has been through whenever I play Skyrim, because whenever you go through, like, you run through any battlefield in Skyrim, it's just a bunch of naked bodies laying around, because I'm a pack rat, I can't leave anything behind. Like, I absolutely 100% have to have every little bit of loot that I can get my hands on. It's a weird obsession. But anyways, I feel like, oh, our invasion got pushed back as a result of the fact that we lost a dwarf. That was kind of them. I didn't even know that that was a feature that could happen, but what did we learn? We've probably made a bunch of iron traps now, at least I hope we have. And so let's put those in, and I'm going to try and prepare for the next invasion, because we have to. The last invasion I felt like we were woefully prepared for, and it went really, really badly for us. they always seem to drop most of their enemies right out here. This seems to be where the portal goes a lot of the time. So I'm going to try and get in there and preempt that by just trapping the hell out of this entire area. We may also try and build that secondary tower from here on out. I'm a little disappointed with the fact that we only have like these traps to defend ourselves with. It seems like the enemies get through the doors pretty quickly. It also appears as though they fixed the fact that undead, if you watched in the last episode, they just walk straight through. I think they fixed the bug where undead won't go through open doors, so that's another thing that I think they've patched in with this most recent patch. On this side, we've managed to get that opened up rather nicely. We've done some wall surgery there. Let's go to our crafting tree. Continue down the line. I think I'm just going to make some silver armor to get the remainder of our population up and out of their britches. So let's figure out how many of these we get with each one that we craft. And what's gone wrong here? Why are you not crafting? What has occurred? Hold on, let's go back. Gotta go back to scratch here for a moment. Oh, I placed things wrong. Okay. I don't know what I was crafting right there, but it was absolutely 100% the wrong thing. Probably a result of the UI being stretched a little bit. Let's do our silver ingots here. I'm not going to do helmets first. Let's do chest plates since they're more beneficial. I think the chest plate was something like this. Maybe, oh no, it was steel bars. That's what it was. Let's get those out of there. And it was steel bars and then there was something in the middle. I can't remember what it was. Okay, so I was doing it wrong. Not the first time, nor will it be the last, but that's how a lot of my dates end, just doing it wrong. Completely and totally. Hence, my unsatisfied, grumpy, and otherwise sarcastic nature. What are you going to do about it? Let's make ourselves some chesticle pieces. And I'm going to max out on those. I'm just going to try and get everybody into a chest piece for now. We'll deal with the repercussions of that later. There's plenty of materials that we still haven't gotten at yet in this entire business of playing Craft the World, so I think that as we play through, we'll find ourselves some more silver, we'll find ourselves some more goodies. I would love for some illumination to go down here. Maybe somebody think about getting that done, please? Just a little bit. I don't know who's under attack right now, but it appears as though somebody has been placed under attack. None of the traps have been placed, unfortunately. Well, never mind, maybe they have. Has something stepped on them? The other downside to our traps. I don't see one laying on the ground anywhere, and I think I used up the remainder of my iron to do something. Let me take a look and make sure that our iron supply is not totally depleted. We're not completely depleted, but we can only make 5 more traps right now. And it also maybe the circumstances here, our blacksmith maybe. Our population has grown. That may also be the reason why we're not seeing that silver armor being crafted. Our dwarf that's responsible for taking care of blacksmithing opportunities is falling down on the job. Unfortunately, he has tripped and broken his dwarfy leg, and he's no longer handling the things the way I need him to. Or we may just have nobody with the skill. Well, we'll make him a smith. Oh, he's already a smith. He's already our smith. Well, where is he? And why is nothing happening here? I feel like I'm having a lot more pathfinding issues than I had previously, so I feel like in the last patch something may have been broken slightly, which is never an uncommon thing with patches. Unfortunately, the game has been getting stalled up quite a bit that I noticed when it comes to placing locations, so we'll put that right there. A little bit of rain has gotten in, so we may think about putting in a hatch right here too. I may also dig this ditch way down deeper, like maybe put it down to like right here so that they have to stack up way more skeletons before they can get at us. That was an idea that you guys had suggested, and it's one that I'll admittedly, I have thought about it before, but just hadn't gotten around to doing the basic mining that needed to be done to do it. Apparently that works perfectly fine. I'm not even sure anymore. Weird things happening everywhere. He just placed a trap, and I don't see it laying on the ground. Previously, when we placed a trap, it was very obviously laying, like, right there. But maybe it's because the grass is around or something. Oh my god, these terrible, shitty plants are really starting to irritate me. Like, go to hell, for real. Oh my god, like... I can't get any work done because there's too many plants around, and I don't like to get frustrated on the channel, and I'm not like angry about it. It's just like one of those features that I was like, why was this implemented? Why was this necessary? Like, you're just frustrating players with it. Especially when, I think if you have a build order in place, I think it should not have any plants grow there. Because when it cancels your build order in order to put in plants, it's just like, oh my god, I hate this so much right now. I am so upset with you. So I'm going to put in a hatch right here too. Let me get my dirt out. And that's going to be the last thing we do with this episode. Let's do it with wood. Let's get our wood on right now. I have to make wood walls. I completely and totally forgot. It's been too long. Let's make some wood walls. There we go, because we're going to need plenty of those, and then we'll put those down into place. And we'll put those right there, and once we've got a wooden wall in, there we go. Now that we've got a little bit of shaft in place, what we'll do there is we'll put in a hatch so that no more rainfall gets gathered up in the bottom of this, because that's going to be a major issue for the future as we have people falling down in here and drowning themselves every 2 seconds. I've got to try and avoid that at any cost. Drowning seems to be a very real hazard for most of my dwarves, so I tend to try and keep it on the down low. My name is Splattercat. We're going to stop the episode here. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Craft the World. I've been having a blast with this game. I still like it. I'm going to play all the maps on my own, even after I get done here, just so you guys know. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hi-do and farewell.